Welcome back. One final segment of the Sports Buzz here on your Sunday. Hope you've had a great weekend. It's the best time of the year. It's March and we are at Zaxby's. I'm joined with Nick Roush. He has pulled himself together a little bit for this final segment.
Just a little bit.
We appreciate your all's considerations throughout today's show.
And we'd appreciate it, too, if you hung out with us and watched the Cats play in the SEC tournament this Friday.
Yep. We'll be at Beer Nose down by the KFC Yum Center by the 2nd Street Bridge. And we'll be watching UK take on either Tennessee or Alabama. And we'll be rooting on the Cats as they start their postseason run. We talked a little bit about the SEC tournament. Yep. The 4 seed for Kentucky, shockingly, Mississippi State. Florida will be the 5. UK avoided Auburn and LSU, which I think a lot of people wanted. So they wouldn't see them until Sunday in the championship. Just quickly, where does UK's run in the SEC tournament end, or do they win the whole thing?
It never ends. Just keeps on going and going until they got confetti falling down.
So you're anticipating Kentucky to win the SEC tournament?
Oh, yeah.
John Calipari has won the SEC tournament in 2010, 2011, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and Nick Roush is predicting that he wins it in 2020 as well.
It's been a year. He's due.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be a challenge. I think you're going to see a lot of close games. I wouldn't be shocked if all 3 games come down to the final few minutes, but I do think ultimately Kentucky's home court advantage in Nashville will pull the Cats through, and they will win. Louisville had a chance to clinch a share of the ACC regular season championship. All they had to do is go win at a place that they've only ever won once in program history.
Not
that is
since
Virginia.
joining the ACC.
Yeah, and they've never won there since joining the ACC, and they play there every year, as a matter of fact. They lose. It's a game that they were down big in, which
came all the way back.
A 10-point deficit against Virginia may as well be 30.
Right.
Louisville's able to overcome and able to take the lead.
Man, poor Dwayne Sutton, though. My goodness, that dunk was just nasty. Dwayne Sutton got canceled. It was pretty ferocious. But they were in the game early, got that big deficit, climbed all the way back, and had a chance to win at the end, and couldn't hit the shots when they needed it most. And I think that ultimately might be Louisville's big problem is who gets the bucket down the stretch.
Yeah, you would thought it would be Jordan Nwora, but he's been so wildly inconsistent this season. It was nice to see U of L get Malik Williams back, but he didn't look 110% in that game, far from it, and he played limited minutes. Losing to Virginia, there's no shame in that, and especially how competitive Louisville was.
Man, but that would have been big to get your – I mean, Louisville's never won part of the SEC, and that would have been –
It definitely has never won part of the SEC.
No. ACC, SEC, they all sound alike.
They don't want any part of the SEC.
No, they don't want.
But you get Malik Williams back. That's the good news. No shame in that. But when you look back at Louisville's season, it's been one that is just anytime it's been an elevated game, a big-time game where Louisville really needs to step up, seems like they've come up short in the majority of those. With the exception of Duke, they will always be able to hang their hat on the Duke win. And Michigan was a good win at the time, but Michigan's been back and forth since then. You have 2 games against Florida State where Louisville really needed a win, didn't get it. Obviously, the game at Rupp Arena against UK went to overtime, and they couldn't pull out the win. That would be what would concern me most heading into the ACC tournament. And they could get revenge against Virginia in the semifinals.
Yeah, they really could.
They also could play a really hot UNC team who lost to Duke but gave the Blue Devils all they could handle for the most part for about 30 minutes, 35 minutes of that game at Cameron. It's going to be a difficult road for U of L. I think they've got to at least –
You got to win at least.
I think they got to get to the ACC championship. You got to beat Virginia on a neutral floor.
Just to get that juju off?
Exactly, like to get some good momentum. I don't think they have to win the whole thing, but they do avoid Duke and Florida State until the championship, which is good news, I think, for U of L. But anywho, it's going to be a tough road for them. Indiana.
Tough road for them to get to the NCAA tournament.
All they really had to do was just find a way to win 2 of their final 3. They're not able to do so. Oh, we got a little fan.
But no,
just
Indiana,
excited. I think he may be more excited about March than you are.
He's the only one. I mean, I know Archie Miller not too excited about March, not too excited about Joe Lunardi either because they got that big loss. And here's what Archie had to say after the game.
Really came after Joe Lunardi.
When I was in the Atlantic 10, Joe Lunardi was my best friend. Now he's crapping on Indiana to get people to watch his Sesame Street show. Now he can go back in the trash can where he came from.
Yeah, that is a weird thing to say.
A little unhinged, Archie.
No, he really is. This season has really backfired for Archie Miller. I don't think the expectations for IU were all that great. They were much higher with Romeo Langford.
Right.
And, of course, that was not a success. That was not a good season for IU. But I think the expectations this year were, if you get to the tournament, that'd be good. Well, they're right there. They're on the bubble. There's been times this season they look like they would be a lock. There's been other times where you're wondering, oh my gosh, they're really not going to get in. They finished near the bottom of the Big Ten.
Yeah, not good.
They're going to have a long road in the Big Ten tournament.
But
we don't know their road exactly
it's
yet.
technically a home game, though, because it's in Indiana, so who knows?
You know, Indianapolis and Bloomington, not the same city. Different cities.
Well, yeah, but it's still in the state.
Different
well,
places.
I guess you're right. Purdue, they always lose to Purdue.
They always lose to Purdue as well.
Man.
So
I
Indiana
tried
will
Hoosiers.
absolutely at least have to win one to get into the big dance.
Yeah,
maybe two, because they didn't do themselves any favors
And
down the
Utah
stretch.
State last night didn't do them any favors either.
Yeah.
They upset San Diego State. It
Bid
was an
stealer.
incredible game. And San Diego State, they're probably going to get knocked off that one line.
Probably so, which
Yeah.
actually may be a good thing for San Diego State because now they could potentially be the two in the West.
Yeah,
you could have
hang out west with
Gonzaga and San
Gonzaga.
Diego State stay out there, which you would want to be the three in that region.
Man, that was a heck of a three that dude hit to win the game for
Utah State, sure.
And San Diego State almost hits a half-court shot. A little bit more exciting than the backdoor cut layup that Belmont had for the win. Losing on a backdoor cut, man, just...
All right, a few quick hitters.
Yeah.
Louisville City and the USL opens their season with a win on the road down in North Carolina. They don't open their stadium
For a couple more
until
weeks,
April 11th. We had a little bit of football news, a departure from the staff.
Yeah, Michael Smith out. A new coach from Oregon, Javon Bouknight, will be taking over. He was a talented receiver at Wyoming, spent 10 years at Utah State, and a season at Oregon. Now he's coming to Kentucky to replace Michael Smith.
UK spring game will be April 11th at noon. Tickets are free. You show up, you come in, you get to see it, you get to watch the Cats ball out a little bit for some spring football. What seed do you think Kentucky gets? We're a week away from Selection Sunday. When it's all said and done, they reveal the brackets. Is Kentucky, it looked like they were going to be a 2 until the Tennessee loss.
And I still think they could. No, I'm going to go with a 3 seed. They're really close. They're going to flirt with that. And it depends on what other people around them do, but I think they're still going to ultimately be a 3 seed.
If they win the SEC tournament, they'll have a good shot at a 2 seed. Otherwise, I'll agree with you, Nick. I'm going with the 3, but we'll have to see what else happens. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the madness.